and giving us insights of what's expected going forward. In fact, the jury of the 21st India Business Leader Awards met in Mumbai to pick the winners. They included the biggest names in corporate India from the sidelines of the mega event. Nigel spoke to Hyundai's MD and CEO Designate Tarun Garg on the demand scenario post the GST cut. Let's listen into what he had to say.
The GST 2.0 reforms has really brought in a new boost to the demand in the economy. So I am very confident, and you can see that from a Hyundai perspective after the IPO, and now of course our CEO, global CEO Jose, has announced 45,000 crore investment, and the second phase of growth story of Hyundai in India is beginning. So I think it's all pointing to that the world is looking at India with a lot of interest and a lot of respect, and of course the supply chain challenges is also making India a destination for the world to see and take care.
Well, that's right. You know, I think if I spoke to you a few months ago, what would be on your wish list would be GST rationalization. And that's precisely what's happened as well. Tell us a little bit about India's ecosystem with regard to EV, because that's clearly penetrating more. That's clearly developing. How do you see adaptation, pan out on that front?
I think that's a very good question, and if you see globally, people have been talking about the EV chasm happening, but if you see India, last 2 years we were stuck at about 2.5% penetration. I'm talking about the passenger cars, but this year what happened? Suddenly the change happened, and August, September we looked at almost 6% penetration. So what has changed? What has changed is, I think, a huge push by the government, the PM e-drive scheme, which means that so many charging stations will be installed, because if you see, the biggest enabler for EV adoption is the range anxiety which customers have, and once you take care of that anxiety, so by giving him the option of charging at the highways, because people are very comfortable charging at home for intracity driving, but then once they have to go out of the city, then they need that kind of a comfort. So that was one very big driver. The second thing was more and more OEMs joined the race. So we had some very exciting EVs. Even Hyundai launched the Creta EV. We already announced that in 2027 we are going to have a very dedicated EV for India. So I think the entire ecosystem, in terms of more products, in terms of charging infrastructure, in terms of the supply chain, if you see the battery packs, we have already localized. We are talking about cell manufacturing with a local Indian partner. We are looking at powertrains, power electronics, drivetrain. So the entire ecosystem is giving thrust to this EVs, and I believe with the government's vision of sustainability, I think EVs are here to really have a tangential growth.
The management of Hyundai, but that's what is on your screens. Yes. The images of the year, possibly the moments of the year, the final for the ages, where the Indian women's cricket team finally emerged world champions after 2 heartbreaks back in 2005 and in 2017, finally becoming world champions for the first time in the 40-year history of the Women's Cricket World Cup. Of course, the tale of redemption for a lot of the players that were a part of this squad, not so much for the coach as well, for Amol Mazumdar, who's winning his World Cup title as well, for having been a first-class cricket colossus but never got to play for India, but emerged as a world champion coach. From all of us here at CNBC-TV18, we extend our heartiest congratulations to the world champions, our girls, and we all would say very proudly today, the girls played well.
Yes. It's women in blue that we'll talk about now. But on that note, on that cheerful note, we'll take your leave on this edition of Trading Hour. Stay tuned. Halftime Report is up next.